you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I want to go ahead and talk about leadership, right? That was one of the big topics in this battle discussion. What was one thing that you really wanted to emphasize for everyone in the room to hear?
I think the biggest thing is like leadership starts with you. You know, a lot of times they want to, a lot of us want to lead other people, but before we lead ourselves, but you got to lead you first. And, I would share with people is that if you don't change for what you say you want, then you got to change what you say you want. And so that means is like you got to, from a leadership standpoint, you've got to start changing yourself first for the things you want. And then eventually as you start getting results, as you start growing, then people will follow you. Nothing happens without leadership. And from a leadership standpoint, leaders always tell people they don't see with their eyes, they see with their belief. And that's why belief is so important with leadership, because now when you see obstacles, now when you see challenges, it all depends on the lens that you're looking at it through. So if I'm a leader, now I don't see that problem as this big thing. I see it as this small solution that we can just easily get past. And so what people are looking for when it comes to business and growing is they want to have somebody that can see a challenge but help them see through it. And so that's where leadership really comes into play, is learning how to lead yourself, because once you lead yourself through those challenges and through difficult situations, now you have the experience and the ability to help other people.
And I think being a great leader has a lot of responsibility, right?
It does, yeah, a lot.
What are some things that you've struggled with yourself that you would want to give advice to other people to, work on it?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of my career, when I was 18, I'm 34 now, it was just consistency. And that's why I say leadership was so important, because what it made me do, what it forced me to do, was when I felt like quitting, I had to have those conversations, those pep talks, those moments with myself. I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to get through this. In the beginning, they were actually small challenges. And then when I got older, then it became, people in my family passed, and became relationship challenges. It became all these different things. And so everything that you're going through is preparing you to lead other people through similar circumstances so that they can use their own personal power to get through it, because all of our journeys are going to be different. But what a person can do is they can take principles, they can take experiences from your journey that can help them. So, it's really just about, like I said at the beginning, it's really leading yourself through those things.
Right. And being a great leader, I think there's a couple of principles that you have to have in place in the first place.
Yeah.
So what are those principles that you go by every day?
I personally believe that your character should be bigger than your checkbook. And, a lot of times people want the money, but your character and your principles is what allows you to be able to keep it. There's a saying that your principles should be higher than your feelings. Principles over feelings. And so what you got to do is you got to establish some principles. Whether it's your spirituality, maybe it's your belief in God or whatever you believe in, you've got to have some principles that you're going to hold yourself to that override how you feel. Because there's a lot of days where I don't necessarily feel like doing some of the certain things that I have to do in my business, but guess what? Principles kick in and say, no, you got to do it. And that's where your character comes in. That's where your discipline comes in to be able to help you, achieve at a higher level.
And I think motivation is temporary. Discipline, you have to have it.
It lasts.
Right?
Yeah.
In everything, right?
You do.
Especially in your professional life, in order to be whatever you're meant to be and whatever you desire to be.
Yeah.
In general, this event has been insane.
Amazing.
I'm sure that you've learned a lot of things yourself from the other panelists. Is there one thing that you really got, I guess, moved by other panelists about what they had to say?
I would probably say, I didn't actually think about it until I really got through it. It was the Michelle, and I forgot the doctor that came up with her, but it was really powerful. It was almost really deep. But it also helped me
Dr. Caroline Leaf, right?
Yeah. And it helped me not only understand myself better, but it allowed me, because personally, I haven't really dealt with like a ton of depression, although I have people around me that have. So it allowed me to see things from a different perspective, where now I get it. I'm like, man, wait a minute, there are some things in my life that I really need to fix too, and go back to the roots to see where they come from. And then it starts showing me like, it takes this whole believing thing and all that stuff to really help people dive deeper from a mindset standpoint, to understand why some of these beliefs, why some of these feelings that we have, with the root where they come from. And so I really appreciated that part. Of course, David's part when he was talking about just forgiveness, because that was just a big part for me, learning how to forgive. Forgiveness is really for yourself. But if you want to be able to move forward, you've got to let go of some things. And that means, making those phone calls, making those text messages to just release some things from the past. And I always tell people, you got to move on so your business can. And if you're still holding on to the past, if you're still holding on to old feelings, then you'll never really be able to move forward. So that forgiveness piece was huge for me.
Right. I think we all go through things in life where sometimes we hold on to it and we seem to not be able to let go.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you would want to share with people that are connecting right now live,
Mm-hmm.
a quote or something that you've gotten not only from the panel that
Mm-hmm.
you were in today, but throughout the whole event?
Man, a quote. I'll probably look at my phone and my notes if I can. Does it
Yeah,
care?
of
Oh, okay,
course.
okay, cool. Yeah, I jotted down a lot of
You
notes.
see, that's good. He took notes.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people in the room actually taking notes as well. I know I did too.
Let me look.
There was a lot of quotable moments, right? And that is the power of writing things down. So
Yeah, I
you
got a
can
lot of
remember
notes.
later on, guys.
See, that
There's
was a
a
good
lot,
one. Yeah,
guys. I
no.
see
No,
him
this
just
is a good one.
scrolling.
He said, David was talking about time,
Okay.
and he said, you have a challenge with time because you don't know what time is. And basically the whole correlation was, God is time. And he said, so if you have a problem with time, then you also have a problem with God, which nobody would really
Wow.
think about it like that. But when you're not being patient because you want something right now, you're frustrated about the time and when it's happening, when it's not happening. Well, really what you're saying is, God, I'm really frustrated with you. And nobody really wants to be in that situation mentally. And so it's like, it's allowing you to be patient through time, continue to work on yourself, have a great attitude, stay grateful, so that you can get the things that you want. Because if you think about it, we're always told that we're made in God's image, and that anybody that gets frustrated with you, it doesn't make you want to do things for them faster. It makes you a lot of times sometimes not even want to do it at all. And so it's about, staying true to your purpose, staying true to what you're saying. And what I learned was, when you're going through challenges, when you're going through obstacles or whatever, that's when you double down on belief. That's when you start speaking it more. That's when you start seeing your goals more. That's when you want to dive into that environment. So that was really one of my big takeaways. It was really a reminder to get back to that and stay there.
Yeah, there was a lot of great leaders, including yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
That had so much to say, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, for all those that are considering coming next year, how is the energy in the room?
It's amazing.
I mean, the people that came this year, I'm expecting more the following, right?
For sure. Because you're going to grow. People that come here are going to grow. If you're on a live stream, you're going to grow, and you're going to come back. And you want other people to experience that. I want to say shout out to Dave for everything he's put together, because this has been a goal for a long time of his. But to really see it come to fruition, for him to for a guy that really lives what he's talking about. Like if you go to his home, you sit in his cars, what he says is exactly what he does. And so he's literally just teaching you what he's been able to do. And obviously I've been mentoring by him for, a long time. And now for a lot of people to be able to get access to the things I've had access to in a larger capacity is really special. So I want y'all to understand from a mentorship standpoint that you're getting exactly what he gives his mentees, just on a larger scale. So really tap in, because a lot of times people don't realize somebody's value until the price goes up. And so, take advantage of it now. I will say that, because listen, this is probably the least expensive events are ever going to be. And it's only going to get better. So make sure as soon as they drop the next event, I'm going to get my ticket. I make sure you get yours, be at the next one. But also more importantly, whether you've got a company, your family, whatever, bring those individuals with you, so that now you can create a circle of belief, so you guys can go out there win much bigger and much faster.
Right, guys, bring your people. Make sure that you stay connected with us as well, not only today, but also keep in mind the next event. Now, guys, thank you so much. That happened. It was hosted by Tiffany Beverly. And guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to be tuning in later on, so stay connected.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you.
Much.
Enjoyed
Pleasure.
it. Very nice.
Hey guys, we are back from a quick break, but I have someone really special and really special to David. I have Bass right next to me who goes way back, right?
Oh, yes.
I definitely want to hear about this story. I want to know, how did you guys meet and what brought you right now to I Believe Nation?
Absolutely. Once again, well, appreciate you guys for having me here. Incredible event that we're having here with Believe Nation. And, it's kind of like watching a movie from the director who was, putting it pen to paper years ago, saying this is something I want to do. And, me and David's, we go back, just our whole just knowledge of knowing each other about 16 years, 2006, San Diego, California, at another event, another company we was in. And we got introduced by a good friend of ours, the late Silas King. And he just said, you guys gel together. I remember sneaking David into one of the leaders' events. It was only for a certain level. And but I just knew this kid had it in him. And even back then, I remember getting off stage, and David was, as everybody was leaving the arena, David was still sitting in the seat. I came off stage, I'm like, you going to lunch? And he had this look on his face, and he like, man, I just want to win, man. I just want to win, And it was that burning desire that he still had even back then from that, us getting to know each other. And then you follow up years later, we connect again. He's now my mentor, so that humility factor. But seeing everything that's happening now with Believe Nation was way back in that time where I came off that stage and while everybody left the arena, he's sitting there saying, looking at himself, feeling like he's defeated, but he knew in his heart, I'm a champion. I shouldn't be where I am. All I want, I just want to win, So, but that's kind of like how the timeline goes, me and David, So this is unbelievable. Okay.
It really is. There's so many people gathered here today. And how did his mentality of I want to win, I will win, impact your life in general?
Well, the main thing is, when everybody goes through stuff, and no matter what point of your life, it's like everybody reads this certain book of, I know I want to win, I want to succeed. And others, in my opinion, don't really pay attention to the verbiage that is in the scriptures, or they just kind of see it as words. We internalize it. And if you're going through something, or if you're going through something, it seems like that's when the song is playing on the radio. That's when the book is given, So, and when we meet people, and you're like, oh, that happened to you too? I thought it was just me. Like, no. It's amazing how God kind of has this thing going on and on. It's like he got these people designed to eventually one day meet each other. And when we connect, it's like, okay, we can kind of do this together. And so seeing that belief, seeing what he was believing in, I speak of belief. And if his vibration is even higher, I just want to kind of get to where he is. So it's kind of like when it all works out, it's like a hand in a glove. And it's like, man, it's like it was almost, as they would say, destined, or predetermined. But what's the old saying they say is when it says divine intervention, per se. It's like a divinely was designed to happen. And that's really how it is. So again, this right here and where we're going to scale it to, we all have the same belief of being and doing something great. And I'm just so excited to be a part of that movement and see it come to fruition.
Speaking of your part of the movement, what is your role in all this, right? You're a supporter, of course, but I want to dive in a little bit deeper into how have you really made this event happen?
Definitely. Well, obviously, I'm a very good friend, best friend of David. And so for my business and what we do in business sidebar to Believe Nation, we connect together by speaking the belief in people, empowering people financially, mentally, spiritually, all the 7 pillars that Believe Nation talks about. And with this event here, I make sure I galvanize the masses. And even when I look at this event, I tell myself I could have did better. I could have did so much more. And it should do that to you. Like, more people needed to be here for this weekend, and that's kind of what it is for me. I stay right here in the Tampa Bay area, so I'm about an hour away here. Florida is my home, and but my mission and my goal for legacy for my family is once again impacting the hundreds of millions, like David is impacting 1 billion. Okay, and we'll just do our part to snip out that 1 billion to everybody in some part, whatever they do in life, whatever their jobs is, whatever their careers are. Just understand the power of believe, understanding those 2 words, I am. You are something, and if you simply believe it, you can achieve it. So I say believe, achieve, and simply succeed.
Ooh, I love that. That kind of had like a tone to it. I liked it. You said 7 pillars. Can you talk about one that you think is the most important?
Wow. One that's most
I
important.
know it's going to be difficult. They're all important, but one that you say, guys, you have to pay attention to this one.
Okay, guys, if you're watching this, relationships. Okay, it's the ships that carry you, the relationships, the mentorships, the friendships, which can go on to you ownerships if they really take a heed of that, you know. And anything in life, and Dr. Dharius Daniels spoke about on stage. You know, I'm a leader, so I want leadership. You know, but for you to get to places, the old saying goes, it's not what you know, but who you know. And if you are connected with the right people who have the same alignment, they can open up so many doors that you thought were locked. And relationships is it. And once again, relationships meaning even if it doesn't sound like it's good, it doesn't sound like, why are you telling me that? It's all for the good. If it's all, come on, good soul ground, I'm telling you this here because I love you. And those relationships are what keep, when everything goes and is going through the tough times, relationships. You know, if you're going to sail the rocky waters of life, you got to have the right ship. So why not it be the right relationships that would then encompass the ownerships of your businesses, the friendships of your business? You know, all those ships carry you to your destination. So for me, and all 7 pillars are amazing, the relationships are the ones that's going to get everybody through the tough times, the happy times, and all times. Relationships.
And I see that there's a lot of, you know, people that connect at another level here. There's a sense of community that I've mentioned a couple times already. How does that make you feel, right? There's a lot of people that come here hungry to grow, but they also help each other out a lot. And it comes back to that network and having those good relationships around you. How does it make you feel to see that today and this whole weekend?
Well, I mean, honestly, again, like you said, everybody comes in for different reasons. We don't know where people come from. And they talked about how the mental illness and awareness is so major now in the economy and the world. But by coming here and kind of just letting go, like not being afraid. And I was just having that conversation how with men, we really don't express our emotions because of how we're raised. You know, we're strong. We got to be the breadwinner. You got to be the rock. And I'm not saying men can't do that, but we do get emotional. And I know for me, it was a very difficult time to show emotions, to be, feel like I'm soft in front of other people, let alone men. But those things, as you see this weekend, when people come in, they want something, but before they can actually receive something, they got to let something go. And for some people, it's the emotion. Whatever they've been holding on to, they got to let a little bit of that plane go. And if it's what they call the ugly cry, it's just temporary.
We've all had those moments. Yeah,
everybody's
right?
cry is different, you know. Like if it's the ugly cry, hey, let it be ugly. But what we noticed today, because we were doing it a lot, there were people who were very, very emotional. And to see people who you never met that saw someone going through something and they was expressing that emotion, a stranger would come and it's that hug. And that's really what it comes down to, like that love to a stranger all over. And we were doing it all over the place. Absolute. And for some people, they may come thinking, I'm looking for the nugget to give it to the next level. But it was that emotional moment that someone gave them a hug. And that was what it was. It had nothing to do about this nugget. That emotion, whatever that feeling was, you coming over and giving them that nurturing at that time of what they thought was their weak moment was what they needed now to go to the next level.
Right, and it makes them feel like they're not alone.
Absolutely.
And speaking of emotions, David himself got really emotional at one point at the event. And I think it moved all of us because we felt it.
Oh,
the energy was there. I think there was, even Michelle herself, the whole audience was just about to bawl their eyes out, including myself backstage. I mean, it was incredible, but I think that shows the human side of David and also helps us connect to his story.
I bawled. So just let everybody know, I don't know how I look when I cry, but I cried for you and me. It was coming, it was spilling, and I didn't care. And I feel so good to release that, to be in that moment with them, because I'm no longer afraid to do that. I'm no longer afraid to, show my emotions publicly, or as a man.
Guys, so there you have it. Remember, stay on top of yourself, check yourself, and don't be afraid to cry every once in a while, because we all do that, right? Guys, be connected with us throughout the whole day. We're gonna have a lot more coming in, and you already got the inside scoop of this year's event. Make sure you're staying connected to hear more about the next one. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Bye, guys.